Bonjour, je m'appelle Madame Cave, and today we're going to make a fortune teller, which can be called in French une cocotte en papier. If you've never made one before or you don't know what one is, don't worry, I will be explaining it all soon. So if you started learning French in the last year, this is probably the best project for you to do, but anyone can have a go. So let's get started. Allons-y. So you're going to design and write and make a fortune teller. By doing this, it will show that you can say and read and write the words in French for 4 colours, the numbers 1 to 8, and how you feel. You might find it useful to have a piece of paper or pen or pencil handy, and don't forget that you can stop the video at any time and go back or listen again. Okay, let's get started. So first of all, on the outside of the fortune teller, you're going to write 4 colours. And what you can see on the screen now are some pictures which represent the sounds in the 4 colours that we're going to practice together. Each picture has an action for it, and I'm going to tell you what the action is, and then we're going to say the sound that goes with that action. So, are you ready? We're starting in the top left here, and this is the chimpanzee sound. So make an action like you're a chimpanzee and go ooh. Ooh. You have to get your lips really round and tight and stick them out a bit and go ooh. Okay, next one. This lady has had a shock, so you put your hands to your face like she's doing and go ooh. Ooh. Now this lady, she is gargling water. She's put water in the back of her throat, so you pretend you're doing that and make this sound. Okay, can you see the car? The car is going by very quickly, so follow it with your finger and go zh, zh. The boy is pumping air into the tyre, and as he pumps, he goes, eh, eh. And the lady has found something nasty on her shoe, and as she scrapes it off, she goes, ugh. So shall we try all those actions again? First of all, the chimpanzee. Now the lady who's had a shock. Oh. Now the gargling girl, the fast car, the boy pumping air, eh, and the lady with something on her shoe, Okay, I am going to say a sound, see if you can do the action before I show you on the screen which action you should have done. Okay, you ready? First action, what's the action for zh? Finger following the car. Oh! Hands to your face for the shop lady. Ooh! Are you making the chimpanzee action? Tip your head back and make the sound. Eh! Pump air into a tyre. Scrape something off the bottom of your shoe. Okay. So these are the 4 colours that we are going to practice saying. You might have learnt them before somewhere, but let's just do it sound by sound. So we're going to start first of all with blue, and we're going to make the sound that a B makes in English. B. And then this letter, an L, L. So we've got bl, bl. Now put on the end the lady scraping something off her shoe sound, which is and blend all those three and we get bleu, bleu, bleu. And those three sounds together mean blue. Okay, let's try red now. We've got three sounds in red. We're going to start with the gargling sound. Then we're going to do the chimpanzee. And then we're going to finish it off with a zh. So let's have a go. Zh. Rouge. Rouge. Okay, now green. V is a V. Same in English, same in French. Now an E, and then a V, E, vert, vert. Now yellow. We've got a fast car, J, then an O, jo, and then do a N like in English, jaune, jaune. So we've got bleu, rouge, vert, jaune. Okay, I'm going to say a sound. You touch the colour or point to the colour that has that sound in it. O. O. Are you pointing to jaune? There's an O in the middle of jaune. Ou. Ou. Are you pointing to rouge? Because in the middle of rouge there's an ou. E. E. This is in the middle of vert. Vert. An E in the middle of vert. And finally, you guessed it, in bleu. Bleu. Okay. If we want to spell these words for the colours, we need to know which letters make the sounds. Now, when you learn a new language, sometimes letters make the same sound as do in English. But sometimes in the new language, the letters make a different sound. So we can't always sound out with what we know is English sounds. Let's have a look. The chimpanzee is made when you see an O and a U. So if you're reading in French and you see an O and a U, you go ou. Now here's another one with a U, but this time A and U. If you see an A and a U, you go O. O. Now if we see an R in English, we go R. But if you see an R in a word in French, you go If we see a J in English, we go J. But not in French. If you see a J, you do the fast car, J. And also if you see a G before an E, you go J. Now when we see an E in English, do we go E? Yes, and we do in French as well. E. E and U bet you can't think of many words in English with an E and a U, but there are a lot in French, and when you see an E and a U, you go, ugh. So there are three combinations here with U. We've got O and a U, U, an A and a U, O, and an E and a U, ugh. Okay, if you've got your piece of paper, write down 3 letter strings on your piece of paper. So for example, you could put E, an R, an AU, or you could put EU, J, and OU. Now I'm going to call out 4 sounds. If you think that you have got the letters on your paper for one of those sounds, tick it off. And you're going to try and see if you can tick off 3 sounds, all 3 sounds on your paper before I say the 4th sound. Okay, we're ready. First sound, O. Now do the action. Which action are you doing? You're doing hands to your face. Shop lady. Okay. We'll have a look what that is. AU. Have a look if you've got it on your piece of paper. If you have, tick it off. Next one. E. E. That was, what was the action? Pumping the air. Okay, find the picture. Next to it is a letter E. If you've got that one, tick it off. Now, see if you can get the next one correct before I have to say the 4th one. Ugh. Ugh. The action for that, do you remember, is a nasty thing on your shoe. You scrape it off and the letters are EU. And finally, an R. A letter R goes, ugh. But did you manage to tick all 3 off before I went, ugh? If you did, you can say lotto, which is like bingo. Okay, still with your piece of paper, we're going to have a go now at spelling these colours together. Okay, so do you remember how to say blue? Bl, bl. Okay, let's spell it together. You write it down as we work it out. So we know it's a B and a U first. Now, use the little code at the top. What's the letter for EU. And there we spelled bleu. Let's try it with rouge now. So we start with a sound. What's that? It's an R, so we write down an R. Now it's oo. Oo is an OU. And then J. Now we've got a choice. It's either going to be J or G before an E. So we've got to guess. I know, and I'm going to guess G. Oh, but where's the E? Can you hear anything else? Rouge? No. Let's have a look what's behind here. I've written an E and I've put it in grey. Now, I don't know if you know, but there are lots of letters on the ends of French words which you don't say. E, you normally never say an E on the end of a French word, so you write it, but you don't say it. So you're going to write it on your paper, but when we say it, rouge, we're not going to sound out the E. So green was vert, vert, so we write down a V, and then it's which was an E, then like we had in rouge, which was an R. Now, can you hear anything else? No. But here's the surprise. There is a T on the end of this word, and it's another letter which you write but don't say. T is a consonant. Consonants are B, C, D, G, etc. Most consonants in French on the ends of French words you don't say. So we write the T but we don't say it there. Finally, let's try yellow. Jaune. Jaune. So starting with that j sound. We've already used the G, so this time we're going to use the J for this word. J. O is AU. We know it's an N, but it's going to be another silent letter. I wonder if you can guess what it is. It's an E again, like in rouge. We write it, but we don't say it. So let's try saying them. Bleu, rouge, vert, and jaune. Okay, so there are the 4 colours. I'm going to point to one, and you're going to say it and see if you can say it before I do. Bleu, rouge, vert, jaune. How are you going to remember these words next time you hear them or see them? Bleu, I guess that looks quite like and sounds quite like blue in English, so that won't be too hard. Rouge, well, it does begin with an R like red, so that might help. Jaune, but that doesn't sound anything like yellow in English. I wonder if it sounds like yellow in another language that you might speak. Have a think about that. Or sometimes people tell me jaune sounds like shone, and the sun shone and the sun is yellow, so that might be a way to remember it. Vert, vert, doesn't sound like green. I always think it sounds like a lawnmower going vert. And what does a lawnmower cut? It cuts grass. What colour is grass? It's green, so that might be a way to remember it. Okay, I'm going to say one of those colours in French and see if you can point to the right one. Vert, jaune, bleu, rouge. Okay, this time I'm going to say it in English, see if you can point to the word. Blue, green, red, yellow. Okay, I'm going to show you now how to make this fortune teller. So you're going to take a piece of paper, and probably your piece of paper is a rectangle. Now you need to have a square piece of paper. So the easiest way to do that is to take one of the corners and fold it over so that the edges line up like in number 1. Then if you take some scissors and cut off the rectangular piece that isn't got a double side to it, fold it over, cut that off, then you'll be left with a square. See, I've opened it up in number 3. Then you're going to fold the paper again, and you're going to take the point at the end of the crease and fold it up to the other end, and then if you open it out, you'll have a cross on the paper of folds. Now number 5, you're going to fold each corner of the paper to the center. You can see number 5 I've done 2. Number 6, I've folded all the corners to the center, and now I want you to turn over the paper. And now we're going to do the same again on the other side. We're going to fold the corners to the middle, and then it will look like number 8. And then you're going to fold one side to the opposite side, and then you're going to fold the other side to its opposite side. Now if you turn the paper over, it looks like this. You've got 4 little flaps, and what you do, you put your thumb under one and your first finger under another of one hand, and then your thumb and your first finger of the other hand, and then push it out, and it should look like number 10. So there's a picture of the one I did at the top there. And you've got 4 outer sections, and each outer section you're going to find some colouring pencils now and colour each one. One in blue, one in red, one in green and one in yellow. And then you're going to write the words in French for them over the top, just like I've done. Now you probably want to pause the video now and go away and do this. So we've got the 4 colours on the outside. On the inside part, on the flaps, there are 8 sections. On each section we're going to write the numbers 1 to 8. First of all, we're going to work together and check that we know how to write and read and say the numbers 1 to 8. So here are the sounds in the numbers 1 to 8. 3 of them at the top we've already met in the colours. So, for EU, for R, and for E. Now we've got 8 new ones to learn. So are you ready? The boy is putting his hand to his ear and he can't quite hear what someone's saying, but he's being very impolite and he's going, So you put your hand to your ear and go, Now the boy eating the apple. Boy eating the apple. Pretend you've got an apple in your hand and go, ah. Ah. That's an English sound, isn't it? Ah. The lady with these castanets, these Spanish musical instrument, castanets, you pretend you've got some in your hand and go, k, k. Now that's a sound we have in English as well, isn't it? K. See, sometimes we have the same sounds in English and in French, but sometimes the sounds are different. Now, the boy with showing lots of teeth, so you show lots of teeth and do a big smile and go, ee, ee. So top line, we've got, remember the action? A, k, ee. Now, this goose is angry. I think goose can get angry. You're going to put your hands back as though they are your wings. Put them back and make this sound. Now, that is definitely not a sound we have in any words in English. That's a very French sound. Okay, the snake. The snake, pretend with your hand you're making a snake action and go sss. That's an English sound, isn't it? Sss. Now, this baby's crying, so put your hands to your eyes like you're crying and go wah, wah. And finally, this last sound is not an English sound. This lady has smelt a smell, so hold your nose as though you smelt a smell and go ee. That's like a short ooh when you smell to smell, but I want you to do it very short and very strong and go ooh. Okay, so let's try that bottom line. Angry goose, wings back, snake action, pretend you're crying, wah, and holding your nose, ooh. Okay, I've put the sound pictures together in 2s. I'm going to say 2 of those sounds and you point to which 2 it is I am saying, which group. So, first of all I'm going to go wah, wah. Hopefully you're pointing to these 2. Now, sk, these 2. Ah, these 2. Now, am I going to do these 2? Let's have a listen. U, E, U, E. Yes, that's the ones. Let's try again. I've mixed them up. about these two. Un, U. Un, U. These two. S, A. S, A. These two. Now, which one should I do? K, wa. K, wa. So, can you say what these two are? I, un. I, un. Okay, let's have a look at the letters that make these sounds. So, we already know that EU goes and we know that an R goes and we know that an E goes Now, when you see a UN in French, and this is, you often see this, UN in French, it makes the sound un. In English, it goes un, so nothing like it, the same. Un. An A can, in English and in French, go A. Now, k, we have that sound in English, but when we see a QU in English, but we don't go k, we go qu. But in French, if you see a QU, you go k, or a Q by itself, k. Letter I. If we see a letter I in English, we either go I or we go I. But in French, we go I. I. IN in English is in. But in French, it's un, so very different. Now, an S in English can go S. And can a C before an I go S in English? Yes, like in city. And C before an I in French goes S. Now, when we see an OI in English, we don't go wa. But in French, if you're reading OI, you go wa. And if we see a U, we don't make this sound that we make in French, which is U. So we've got un. Write the letters with your finger in the air. Un. A. Are you writing an A? A. K. Either a QU or a Q. Write the letter for this one. E. Now, un. Are you writing an I and an N? S. That'd be a C before an I or an S. Wa. That's an O and an I. And U is a U. Okay, let's see if we can match these up. So, Angry Goose was an. See if you can point to the screen to the right letters before I move it to the right place. A. S. Wa. Un. K. U. And E is the smiley boy. Okay, you'll need your piece of paper again as we're going to have a go at spelling these numbers. So, number 1 is un. Un. Now use the little code at the top. Which letters make the sound un? A U and an N, and that's how you write number 1 in French. Un. Number 2, we need a D and an E, which was an EU. We had it in bleu, if you remember. But we're going to find a silent letter. It's not one we've seen yet. This time it's a different consonant. It's an X. You write it, but you don't say it. Number 3, trois. trois. So we've got a t, we've got a an r, and a wa is an oi, but we've got yet another consonant that's silent, s. Write it, but you don't say it. Cat. Cat, we need a k. Now that's either going to be a qu or a q. This is qu. Normally at the end of a word it's q. K. Then an a, like in English a. Then t. Then the h. And silent letter, this time it's the e that's silent. Okay, let's have a go at saying them. Un, deux, silent x. Trois, silent s. Quatre, silent e. Let's try number 5. We start with a s. So it's either going to be an s or a c before an I. And in this one, it's going to be a c, because coming next is un, I-N, and that begins with an I. And then at the end of a word, it's k is going to be a q. Stank, sank. Okay, cease. I'm going to hear 3 sounds, but I've only put 2 pictures. Let's have a look. S, an S, E, a letter I, and s. Now you would expect it to be S again, wouldn't you? But it's not. This is a very strange one. For some reason, it's got an X on the end, and it's not being silent like it was in number 2. It's making a sound, and it's making a S sound. That is one of the strange exceptions in French. Six. Six. Now 7. Et. Set. So we're going to start with a s like we did in six. Then we've got an pumping air, Now, 7 is another strange one. I don't know why, but it's got a P here in the middle of a word, because we're going to finish with a T. That is silent. And 7 is even stranger because it's got a T on the end, which is a consonant, which should be silent, but is not. So I'm sorry about number 7. It's a bit awkward. Silent P, t, set. Finally, 8. Now, 8 is going to start with a silent letter, which is always silent in French. We haven't seen one of these yet, but H, when you write it in French, you never ever say it. So you write an H, then we're going to have an U, then we're going to have an E, and like 7, it's another strange one, it's going to sound its T, huit. There's something very odd, isn't there? When you go ui, it sounds like a worse sound. I don't know where it comes from. It's magic. Huit, huit. So let's try those. 5, 6, 7, 8. From the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did you remember not to say the silent letters? So there they all are. I'm going to say one and see if you can point to the right word. 6, 2, 4, 3, 1, 5, 8, and I don't think I've said 7. Okay, now I've got the numbers there, but they're all mixed up. You might want to pause the video now and see on your piece of paper whether you can write the numbers in the correct order. You don't need to try and do draw the little pictures, but just write the words. So if you've done that now, I'm going to show you what order they should be in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well done if you got those right. Okay, can you point before I show you? I think I'll say it in English. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 6, 1, 7. And there they all are. Should we say them one more time, starting with 1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, open up your fortune teller a little bit and you see you've got 8 little triangular sections like I've got there. And what you're going to do is write the number, one number on each of the triangular sections. There should be 8 altogether. You probably want to pause the video so you can copy them correctly. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do, underneath these number flaps, we're going to write different ways of saying how you feel. And I'll show you afterwards why we're going to do that. So, these are the sounds in the words for to say how you feel. Now, we've met quite a few. We've met all these along the top line. Let's see if we can say them. E, S, A, E, and Ch. Hopefully getting quite confident about those now. So let's try these 3 along the bottom. We haven't seen these pictures before. Let's have a go at saying these. So put your head down onto the desk as though you've had a hard day and you go, oh. Oh, that's an English sound. Oh, like in orange. Oh, as in hot. Okay, this one is a French sound. The boy is playing with the aeroplane, and as he whizzes it through the air, he goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Try that sound. And finally, the girl, she's putting a lot of effort in as she hits the ball, and she goes, uh. So let's try those. Oh, yeah, Okay, here are the letters that make those sounds. Now we know an A goes A, and we know an I goes E, and we know an R goes Ch, and we know a C before an I goes S. But also this C with this funny little mark underneath it, which looks like an upside down question mark, also goes S. So when you see a C with that little funny mark there, it's a special accent. It's telling you to go S. If it hasn't got that mark underneath, it will be doing K, like in English. But with that mark underneath, it's going S. Now, before we saw E, a letter E going E. This time, can you see I've put a mark on the top of that E, slanting down. It's called an accent line. And imagine you're pushing the air down, so you're drawing the line from the top to the bottom down, and that reminds you that the E goes E. So if you see an E by itself or an E with that line going down, E. Now, a letter O in English goes O, and so it does in French. Now the E, it's a long sound and it's made of 3 letters to go. Yeah. an I, an E, and an N. Now an E, if it's in a very short word, a one-syllable word, it won't go it will go tennis player, and we're going to see one of those in a minute. So we've got line going, accent line going down, O, letter O, I-E-N going E-N, and E in a very short word goes And also don't forget this C with this little accent line called a cedilla, making the C go S. Okay, so we're going to have a go at saying how we feel. So we've got a little smiley face, we're feeling okay. Ça va, ça va, ça va. If you go ça va, you're feeling okay. But if you want to say that you're more than just okay, you're feeling really well, you go ça va bien. Ça va bien. So we've taken ça va and we've put on the end bien, which means well. But if you want to say that you're feeling really well today, then you go ça va. We've got the bien on the end, but we're going to put this word for very, très. Ça va très bien. So we've got ça va bien, well. Ça va très bien, we're very well. Big smiley face. Now we've got a little bit of a sad face here. We want to say not that we are ça va, that we are not well. Now in English we just put one word in, but in French we've got to put two words in. One here and one here. So we go ça ne, there's that in a short word. Ça ne va pas. Ça ne va pas. Ça ne va pas means you're not feeling well today. Look at all these in all these words. There's lots of aren't there? Okay, if you want to say you're worse than that, it's feeling bad today, you go ça va, and then you put the word for bad on the end, mal. Ça va mal. Ça va mal. And if you're feeling very bad, do you remember this was the word for very? You go ça va très mal. Ça va très mal. So we've got ça ne va pas, ça va mal, ça va très mal. Now these two are the same. If you want to say you're sort of okay, not great, not bad, just okay. This is a word sometimes French people say. They go off, bof, bof. Nice word, isn't it? Bof. Or you can say this longer phrase, comme si, comme ça. Comme si, comme ça. Comme si, comme ça. So let's try them all. We've got ça va. You're okay, you're good. Ça va bien. You're well. Ça va très bien. You're very well. Ça ne va pas. You're not good. Ça va mal. It's bad today. Ça va très mal. It's very bad today. Or if you're okay, just okay, you can either go bof or comme si, comme ça. Okay, we're going to see if we can spell these together. See if you can guess before I show you. It's going to be either an S or a C with that upside down looking question mark on it, and it's that. Ça va. Ça va. Now we're going to have ça va again, but this time we're going to go bien. Do you remember those three letters that went ien? I-N. Ça va bien. And now we're going to have ça va bien, but in here we're going to say very, très. So ça va, t. Now the do you remember, was the E with the accent line going down, and here's a silent consonant, an S. Write it, but don't say it. and then bien. Ça va bien, ça va très bien. Now we're going to say we're not good. Now we're going to put in 2 extra words to make it say not. Ça, do you remember it was an E for E? Ça ne va, and then A, but we've got another silent consonant S. Ça ne va pas. Ça ne va pas. Okay, now we're going to say we're not feeling good. It's bad. Mal. Ça va mal. Ça va mal. And now we're going to put très in front of the mal. Say we're very bad. Ça va très mal. So can you see ça va, ça va, ça va, ça va, ça va, ça va. In this one we've added bien for well. This one très bien for very well. That one mal, bad, and ça va très mal, very bad. And here we've added 2 words to make it say not, a ne and a pas. Ça ne va pas. Now if you just want to say you're okay, not good, not bad, b, o, f, bof. And if you want to say another way of saying it, come, it's got a silent E on the end. This time it's going to be a C because after it is an I. Comme si, comme ça. And there is that C with the upside down mark, question mark underneath it. Ça, comme si, comme ça. Should we try saying them all? Ça va bien, ça va très bien. Ça ne va pas, ça va mal, ça va très mal, bof, comme si, comme ça. And there they all are. See if you can make the right face for whichever one I'm saying. Ça va mal. Ça va bien. Ça va très bien. You're doing a big smiley face. Ça ne va pas. Is your mouth going down a little bit? Ça va. Is your mouth going up a little bit? Bof. Are you not looking happy or not looking sad? Neither. Or comme si, comme ça. So if you open up the flaps where you wrote the numbers, underneath again you've got 8 little sections, triangular sections, and in each one you can draw those faces, one for that you're well, that you're bad, that it's not good, and then copy the French in as well. And again, you might want to pause it while you copy those down. So the way to use this is that you put your finger and first finger underneath in one side and your other hand first finger and thumb, and then you find someone you can do this with and ask them to point. If they can't say in French what those words are, they just point to one of those colours. So say they pointed to rouge. What you're going to do with your fingers, you're going to push them one way and then push them the other, so it opens up the centre of fortune teller like a mouth. If they choose rouge, you're going to move it 3 times because there are 3 sounds in rouge. Rouge. So when they point to red, you go rouge, and then you push it one way, push it the other way, and push it the other way back again. If they said bleu, you would do bleu, It will now be open and they will be able to see some numbers inside. Again, they can either say, if they know how to speak French and read French, or they can just point. So say they pointed to 4. So you say it aloud, 4, and then you open and shut the fortune teller 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now again, the numbers are showing. Your partner chooses a number, you say what it is, but this time you lift up the flap and read what it says underneath, ça va mal, etc. And the fortune teller is trying to guess the feelings of the person who has been choosing the colour and the numbers. And they can tell you if the fortune teller has guessed correctly. I'll show you a little video of this being done. So bleu, so it's B, and then they choose the number 4, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they choose the number, and they're choosing 2, so you say 2, and then you open it out, and underneath it says ça va, and you see if the person has chosen ça va. Okay, well there you are. That's how to make it. That's how to say the words. What you're going to do, hopefully now, is finish it and find someone to try it out on. See if it can predict the feeling of the person that you're trying it out on. If you want to find out any more about the French phonics system that's used in this lesson, it's called Physical French Phonics, and there is a website you can go to, and it's published by Brilliant Publications. So that's it for today. Merci et au revoir.